Now let's look at indices. So again, similar with SERS, there are also some rules that you need to remember when it comes to index law. So first thing is, if you multiply numbers with the same base, you add the powers. So here we have 9 to the power of 5 times by 9 to the power of 7. Because they have the same base, which is the 9, you just add the powers. So 5 add 7, which is 12. Similar thing with dividing. If you have numbers of the same base, you subtract the powers. And then when you have your brackets, so here you have 9 to the power of 5 in brackets, and then you have to the power of 4 on the outside. So we call that as raising a power to another. So essentially, whenever you see the brackets, you multiply the powers together. So you do 5 times 4, which is 20. Whenever you do any number to the power of 0, you're always going to get 1. Doesn't matter if it's 9, 7, 16, 400, 5,000, 6,000. As long as it's to the power of 0, you're always going to get 1. A power to negative 1 gives a reciprocal. Reciprocal means you essentially flip. So 9 to the power of negative 1 is essentially 1/9. Because when you flip, when you do the reciprocal, 9 is the same thing as saying 9 over 1. And when you flip, 9 goes down here and the 1 goes up there. So that's how we get 1 over 9. And when we have a power of 1 over n, that gives the nth root. So for instance here, 81 to the power of a half is the same thing as saying square root of 81, which is 9. If you do it to the power of a third, that's going to be a cube root. To the power of a fourth, that is going to be fourth root, and so on and so forth. So now let's look at some exam questions. So here we've got write 8 to the power of 6 divide by 8 to the power of minus 9. Okay. So let's look at the inside first. So 8 to the power of 6 divided by 8 to the power of minus 9. The index law says that when we have powers of the same base and we are dividing, we have to subtract the powers. So essentially what we're doing is 8 here, and we're doing 6 minus 9. Remember, two negative numbers make a positive. So this negative and negative will actually turn into a plus. So we're going to do 8, 6 plus 9. 6 plus 9 is 15, so it will be 8 to the power of 15. But hold on a second, we're not done because we've got this square root. Square root in powers is a half. So essentially, we have something like this. When we see the brackets, we are raising a power to another. So that means we multiply the powers together. So we do 15 times by half, which is just the same thing as saying 15 over 2. So our answer in index form is going to be 15 over 2. Okay, now let's look at this one here. So it says find the value of 64 to the power of minus 5 over 6. So what I like to do when we have something like this, well, first let's write it out. So 64 minus 5 over 6. I like to split this minus 5/6 into a fractional power, so the 1 over 6, and then to the power 5, and then to the minus 1. So what I'm saying is I will split this into 64, then I do the fractional power first, times, and then the number, so the power, the 5, and then the minus 1. So let's do it. So 1/6 essentially means we have to find the 6th root of 64. 6th root of 64, I believe, is 2. Yep, 6th root of 64 is 2. So now that we've got that one done, we now work out what 2 to the power of 5 is. 2 to the power of 5 is 32. And then once we've worked that one out, we need to do to the -1. So we're going to do 32 to the power of -1. When we do a power to a negative, to a -1, we do the reciprocal, so we flip, meaning that this 32 will turn into 1/32.